The first time I opened the lid of my mother's piano after she had passed, I played her favorite song as bitter tears flowed down my cheeks. After I finished playing the song, I felt a hand on my shoulder. My dad had heard the music and came to check on me. He was crying too. "I miss your mom so much," he said. At that moment, we heard my stepmother's angry voice. "How often have I told you not to speak about that woman in this house?" she hissed, standing at the door. "Yes," my dad snapped in annoyance. "And every time I've said you have no right to make that choice for us." My stepmother began shouting, "If you can't handle your grief, why did you kill her in the first place?" My dad folded. We lost my mom to a traffic accident. A drunk driver hit my parents' car. My dad had been driving the vehicle. The accident wasn't his fault. My dad was stunned to hear my stepmother blame him for it. He gasped, clutching his chest. What do you mean? For years I've blamed myself and said it should have been me. How could you be so cruel?" Those were the last words he said before collapsing to the floor. My dad had a stroke that night because of my stepmother. The doctors said there was very little they could do for him. He would spend the rest of his life bedridden. He was conscious, but he couldn't move. All he could do was babble when he tried to speak. After a while, he became mute. Since nothing more could be done, they discharged him from the hospital. My stepmother was furious when she received the news. "I'm too old to be a live-in nurse. You handle it. He's your father, after all." "What about school?" I protested. "You'll probably have to quit," she said. "I don't know. Figure it out." I stopped attending school and spent most of my days with my dad. I was happy to take care of him. I knew I was lucky that he was still alive, but I still had one big problem. My stepmother never gave me any money to care for my father. Before long, we wouldn't be able to meet our needs. My mom was a fantastic piano player before she passed away. I wasn't fond of the piano at first, but she convinced me I should learn to play. She taught me everything I know. After taking lessons with her, I was able to sight read music and play along. I remember in the evenings, my mom and I would sit together and practice. As our own